Hey, John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com. So I got this question from Peter asking about getting into public speaking and making video course materials. He says that he's seen some of my courses on Pluralsight and know I do presentations at conferences. I want to get into public speaking and making video course materials. Please, how would you recommend I begin? Best regards, Peter. Well, Peter, it's good that you want to do this. I think this is something really valuable to do. It's something that is surprisingly difficult for many people. It depends on who you are, but most people are a little bit shy and afraid to get in front of a camera, get in front of an audience. And I will tell you that having spoken in front of pretty large audiences before I ever started doing YouTube videos, recording myself on YouTube, uh, doing the YouTube was actually much more intimidating because you're sitting alone in front of a camera. You wonder if you look silly out there, recording. So it's definitely more challenging than it might seem. In fact, I used to watch people's YouTube videos and say, yeah, I could do a YouTube video until I tried it, and then I realized, oh, this is not quite as easy as I expected. Just talking in front of the camera, right? How difficult could that be? Turns out it is a little bit difficult, so it does require some practice. So if you want to get into public speaking and making video course materials, there's a few sort of baby steps that I would take. Now, one of them is there's, of course, an organization known for helping people do this called Toastmasters, which you could check out and join. I haven't done it myself, so I can't really speak to that. But aside from that, if you didn't want to join Toastmasters, what I would recommend is going and first starting off where you work, right? Kind of where I started my first talks I ever did was giving presentations at work. Prepare a PowerPoint slide, talk about some technology, brown bag, lunch type of situation, or maybe you just present on some results from some project, right? You basically, ask your boss, take up the initiative and say, hey, I'd like to give a presentation on this thing. It would benefit our team, and you make a quick presentation with people right? Because these are your coworkers. You still be sweating bullets probably. I remember soaking some shirts and being nervous up there with the clicker first few times I did it. But that's a good place to start because it's a more comfortable, you really can't screw it up that big and it's going to benefit you. From there, it makes sense to go to like user groups in your area if there are some, and then offer to speak at them. Now, obviously, they're not just going to let you speak at them if you haven't been attending them or if you're not well known to some degree. So start attending. You should start doing that anyway. It will help you, and offer to speak on a subject. Put together something decent. Again, this might be it's going to be a growing process, right? So you might be a little bit comfortable with some of the people there, but it's still going to be kind of nerve-wracking because this is the bigger step. So expect that. Expect you to be nervous and for it to feel uncomfortable, right? This is how you grow. But you take these kind of baby steps, right? And then maybe you speak at a code camp, right? This is one of those free conferences that they have all over the place, and they usually have first-time speakers there. You could do that. I spoke at a lot of code camps before I really spoke at any conferences. And then once you start to get that under your belt, then you can start applying for conferences, especially if you can get a video recording of you speaking at a code camp, that might accelerate you. It's sometimes harder to get into conferences just because there's sort of, there's known speakers and, it's hard you got to sort of build up a reputation. Usually, sometimes you can get in as a new speaker, but you should definitely be a confident speaker, at least to some degree at that point, because you don't want to mess that one up. So definitely get in your practice. Just try to take every opportunity that you can to speak. Now, on the video side, do video tutorials. Start with screencasting, which basically means you record your screen, not your face, and talk your way through. Create free tutorials on YouTube is a great thing to do, and that's going to get you more comfortable talking right in front of the camera. You could record a podcast, which again is just audio, or you could get on people's podcasts. And that's going to help you as well. And then eventually maybe you get brave enough to turn on the camera, or maybe you do a screencast with Camtasia. You can put the video. You see this on some of my videos where you're in the left hand or right hand corner of the screen. That's not quite as intimidating. And then just go for it. It's going to take some time. You're going to feel uncomfortable. All of these things stretch you and grow you. But you know, and they seem like they're kind of obvious steps, but you have to. The key thing is not being afraid, right? You is not. I always say not. Don't be afraid to look like an idiot. And that's the thing is you got to realize one, when you do something like this, you're gonna look silly at first, right? Uh, when I if I go back to my oldest YouTube videos, I probably would laugh at myself, right? I'll laugh at these ones someday. You know, they're still laughable to some people, right? The same thing with speaking. You know, I look at some of my first time speaking in public, and it just did not go well, right? But now I'm comfortable. Now, you know, I got there. I can get in front of a crowd. I don't have any problem. I can get on this video, and I don't have any problem. But it took steps to get there, and you just have to realize that it's going to take repeated exposures. Don't think that just because you're nervous or you're screwing it up or it doesn't seem to be working out, that means that you can't do this. It doesn't mean that. It just means that you need more practice and you need to be willing to go out there. I mean, if you go and you speak in front of a crowd 100 times, I guarantee you, you're going to get better. Not only are you going to get better, you're going to get more comfortable. So, you know, again, I say this a lot, but how bad do you really want this? This is what's going to determine it. If you really want this, go for it. Go do it. You know, I've outlined some steps that you could take, but you know, if you really think about it, you could figure it out as well. What steps can you take, little by little, to take opportunities to grow yourself, to stretch yourself in this area, and it's going to pay off for you. That's the other thing I want to talk about real quick. Is this is an awesome skill to have, right? It pays off in a lot of different areas to be able to do this, to be able to connect with people and build an audience, and you know, things like that that are much better than just writing or just, you know, being there and having conversations. To be able to reach a large audience with video and with speaking is really beneficial to your career. So glad you asked this. This is something that I think a lot of people wonder about, and hopefully this is helpful. If you have a question, you can always email me at john@simpleprogrammer.com, and I will try to create a YouTube video to answer your question. I do get a lot of emails, but I usually do create videos for most of them. You can also leave a comment below. And if you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and you'll get more videos from me every week. Take care.